Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Jiyan and Roaches here on Metalopolis. We have Roaches spawning as the red Zerg player over here at the 1 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have Jiyan spawning over here as the blue Protoss player. Now, these are not professional matches. This is actually just a replay sent to me. I thought that the replay the email was written well enough for me to cast. Perhaps it will be an interesting game. Not going to tell you who sent the replay, as telling you who sent the replay may in fact let you know who's going to win, as who would try to send a replay of themselves losing to be aired on YouTube. Anyways, Jiyan gonna go ahead and set up a 9 pylon, and now most likely start using that chrono boost in order to get those probes produced much more quickly. There's that chrono boost. Meanwhile, back over here to this north side, Roaches not getting the spawning pool yet, so maybe trying to go for a 14 pool. A drone now already on the move in order to do some scouting. We do in fact have one overlord up in the air acting as that helium balloon, just moving very, very slowly. One of the questions I guess I have is, how do those overlords really fly on those space platforms like Scrap Station? But that's a question for the lore people over at Blizzard. Maybe I'll ask one of them. Roach is now setting up a spawning pool down here, not behind that minerals, where I normally like to see Zerg players try to hide their tech, as a lot of players, whenever you scout, really want to keep track of where exactly those spawning pools and those roach warrens are in fact at. Jiyan getting double gateway, so going for a double gateway instead of a robotics facility. We'll see how Roaches responds. Roaches should most likely respond with obviously Roaches in this particular instance, as that there is not going to be that many early immortals to really be counteracted. However, Roach is going for an early hatchery instead, so early hatchery already coming into play, and there is not going to be an early queen most likely, as Zerglings now being produced. Or is he actually going to save up for the queen as well? Not sure. A couple drones down over here, and he is in fact building that queen, so gonna have a very, very small army early. Zealot now chasing down Roach's Daisy, the drone just getting plenty of scouting information out. Jiyan, however, not getting any gas yet, as there is no reason to get gas, as there is no cybernetics core. So drone still running around, still getting plenty of sight. We'll see how Roaches will be able to counteract this, as that hatchery is nearing completion. The probe of Jiyan running around, getting hit. Peppy the probe gonna get taken down by those Zerglings. If Peppy the probe tries to run on top of that creep, he will get attacked more quickly, as the queen quickly comes out and is able to take it down. Those Zerglings running much more quickly on that creep. And now a queen walking very slowly. Not sure why they would move the queen over from one hatchery to another this early in the game. Perhaps the queen wants to stay down here in order to try to continue to get some more base defense, trying to secure that lower point. 4 zealots, now 5 zealots on the move to this north side, operating off of a dual gate, finally getting that assimilator. We'll see if and when that cybernetics core is going to be completed, as Protoss cannot win off of zealots alone. So zealots now moving to that north side, and now we have a couple of spine crawlers already coming into position. Another spine crawler nearing completion, as well as a second queen now coming in. So there's 2 queens. So 2 queens and a fair number of Zerglings now going to start doing this engagement. We'll see how this works out, as queens and Zerglings now doing a little bit of engagement. Roaches on, or Zerglings on that side as well, trying to move those queens back, so that Zerglings acting as a little bit of that wall in that engagement. Now a spine crawler being built on that backside. So queens fighting back very, very desperately. One queen down to 12 hit points. Down it goes, unable to get a transfusion off onto another queen. So very nicely done. Jiyan using that very, very well. In comes another spine crawler. So that second spine crawler that was, or that first spine crawler that was produced, going to be able to finish off the rest of Jiyan's zealots. So zealots have now been taken care of. Losses on both sides. Roach is losing 425. Meanwhile, Jiyan losing 700. So losing more zealots in that engagement. So perhaps gonna go either into a 4-gate strategy, or perhaps try for something else. Taking a look at the hotkeys, what Jiyan has 2 gateways on the hotkey 4, 1 nexus on hotkey 5, and his army on hotkey 1. Meanwhile, Roach is sitting with army on hotkey 1, and then both of those hatcheries on hotkey 4. That's really what I suggest a lot of Zerg players do. Keep both of their hatcheries on the same hotkey. That way they can just try to spam units that way. Now, when your hatcheries are far away like that, you'll have to use a shift and control and then that allows you to select 2. So from here, and then you shift and control and you click another. That's how you have both of those hatcheries. Go ahead and hit control 4 while both of those are highlighted, and you will be able to produce those units fairly quickly. Back over here, Zerglings sitting on that ramp now, and now a single queen coming over as well. Unit-wise, there is only 1 queen on this engagement, and now that Spine Crawler dealing a fair amount of damage. Zerglings trying to get a surround off, 2 queens quickly coming up, and Jiyan engaging in this battle and at the wrong place at the wrong time. Zerglings getting a quick surround on that Zealot, and Zealots once again getting taken down. Stalkers now being produced by Jiyan, so Jiyan now moving to Stalkers, but no real reason for Stalkers at this stage. Finally going for that Robo Bay, and we'll see Robo Bay should most likely be some observers, and then perhaps a Tech 2 Colossus, as Zerglings seem to be the name of the game. Warp gates now being upgraded from that standard gateway, and now more Zealots being warped in once again. So Jiyan needing to change his strategy significantly, going for a forge, most likely for that weapons upgrade. Robotics facility now going to get that observer to try to keep up on that high ramp. A speedling now going to try to sneak his way through up that ramp, but getting a photon or a particle disruptor in the face in order to get stopped down. Sentries now being, or a single sentry and a single zealot now being warped in as well. Observer overhead, keeping track of these yellow high yield minerals on his way to see what exactly the tech is. We are in fact going to tier 2. Roach Warren is in fact down. We'll see if whether or not we're going to be seeing Infestors, Hydralisk, or Mutalisk. At this stage in the game, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a Spire come down, as a Spire is probably the good counter, the strong counter towards the number of Zealots that Jiyan has produced so far. A single immortal, more Zealots being warped in, operating off of 3 gate. No forge up, no weapon upgrade yet. Now using that chrono boost, trying to get a second immortal as well. I'm also trying to make sure I use second and secondary a little bit better. Thanks you guys for also improving my English, as I just try to talk as quickly as possible, and sometimes that gets messed up there. So yes, I do try to read all the comments and you know, try to filter the ones that are more constructive and take them to heart. Roach is not getting double gas for some reason, so double gas sitting over here. Now, one of the things I wanted to note is Jiyan currently has the control group 4 setting off of these 3 warp gates. That is a waste, as what you can, Protoss already has an automatic hotkey for warp gates. So whenever you hit W, it automatically selects all of your warp gates for you, so you can start warping in those units. So no reason to hotkey those particular buildings. Perhaps you should transfer the hotkey from those warp gates to that robotics facility to produce more units. Weapons upgrade now underway. We have a changeling moving very, very slowly across the across that map, and now going to turn into that zealot, as those zealots trying, or that zealot perhaps going to try to chase down that one zergling. Back over here we have zealots and sentries doing a little bit of an engagement. Roaches is Spine Crawler dealing some damage, trying to push it back a little bit further. A nice guardian shield being used as well. Nice force field blocking off a single queen, so that queen quickly getting taken down, and more fighting coming back in. Nice use of sentry, nice use of those sentries force field. However, those force sentries are going to get taken down very easily by those zerglings, as those zerglings, that guardian shield doesn't really stop any of that damage. The only damage it does stop is that Spine Crawler. So, and those roaches quickly finishing off the rest of that army, and Jiyan once again ineffective in trying to break through that front door. Roaches losing 81 or 82 units and then 2,000 in resources compared to Jiyan's 4,100. I do not know how Jiyan is still in this game, as income-wise he is already behind. And he's also lost more units. Army-wise, he is definitely behind as well, sitting on 600 while Roaches is sitting on 1,450. In come the Zerglings now, so photon cannons being warped in. Zealots do not have that weapons upgrade. A single immortal on that high ground, gonna go ahead and try to fight back. Very nice use of force field, and preventing any of those additional Zerglings to really get through. They're stuck. So 4 or 5 of those Zerglings are now stuck. And now that's really going to prevent any of those Roaches and Zerglings from dealing that much damage. More sentries casting that force field, able to push this whole entire attack back. And Roaches just sending those Zerglings headlong without really doing any proper scouting pays the price for it. Perhaps should have tried to run around and not go up that ramp. as that ramp is just so tight in that choke point. Taking a look at the armies right now, Control Group 1 has 12 units for Jiyan. Meanwhile, Roaches, not that much over here. Hydralisk Den now in play, so perhaps we'll see some Hydralisk. I do not see any Spire yet or any tech to tier 2. I'm going to try to run this replay just a little bit longer than normal. Perhaps I will be able to get this all into one replay. So now I'm going to say thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Jiyan and Roaches here on Metalopolis.